Alrighty, hey everyone, welcome back. So it was the night before Thanksgiving. Miners were pumping hard along with Bitcoin, but not to love about it, right? So we're having a pretty good day in the markets today in general. Things were in the green for the most part. There were a couple that were in the red. We'll talk about those. But we will take a look at obviously what's going on with the miners, Bitcoin. We'll take a look at also are the miners still undervalued based on their AI potential and things like that. We'll go through pretty much every one of those. We'll go through that. We also have some news stories from Hive and from TeraWolf. We got some also good news stories as well to talk about. And then we'll get into Q&A. So it should be pretty short and, well, it won't be short and sweet, but it'll be at least fun. As always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice, return only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously here. And let's take a look at what we got going on here with the markets today, Bitcoin in general. So Bitcoin had a really, really good day today. We've had a number of these days here, at least lately. So we were up today 3.6% on Bitcoin, which was wonderful to see. I'd like it to be a little bit more controlled, I guess you could say. Maybe not having such a quick run up. I'd like to have it be maybe a little bit more lower growth is what I'm trying to say basically, right? Not as steep inclines as we have been seeing here, at least today, right? So 3.6%, I'd like to see that like 1%, maybe 1.5%, something like that, but just continue to go up here so the RSI doesn't get too overexcited, and then we don't actually, get back to new all-time highs, but instead we go into a bear market here potentially, right? Which we still have as questionable right now. We don't know if we're going to be able to break out of this and break out of the 4-year cycles with Bitcoin. I still think that's going to be the case here, but we want it to be more controlled here going forward. But nonetheless, this was good. This was a good bounce that we've had here, obviously getting to from the low of 80,524. We're back up to 91,233 right now as it is. But Bitcoin closed out today at 90,464. Markets did pretty good today as well. Ethereum did also pretty good here. Miners did really good here. So Dow Jones was up, NASDAQ, S&P, and the Russell was all up. Ethereum was also up today, a little bit less than what Bitcoin was, 2.31% there, but it's still having a nice run here. It's been up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of the last, 7 trading days here, so that's actually pretty good on it. Miners did really good today as well. Bitfarms today was up 11.91%, bouncing there obviously from the low of last week, which was nice. BitDeer was up 6.29%, also bouncing from the low from last week. Kango was up 4.29%. Cypher was up today nicely, 9.3%. This thing's back above the 50 SMA as well. Cleanspark had a great day today. The best performer here from the big miners was up 13.79. It's now above the 100 SMA, which is a good bounce that we've seen here, obviously, on that one. So looks like the conference call yesterday played a good role in this thing doing pretty good here right now. I think we'll get into obviously whether it's undervalued or not in a little bit, but I think it still has more ways to go. CORZ was up nicely as well, 4.05% there. Hive was up just a little bit, 0.95. We do have a story on them we'll talk about. Hut 8 was up 6.03% here. It's getting close to the 50 SMA as well. IREN was up 2.06% there. Mara was actually in the red today. Second day in the red, was down 0.54%. Not a lot of love for Mara right now. I've heard some speculations, rumors that, or people are wanting basically the CEO there to be let go, right? Because the stock hasn't been doing that great. I don't know what the reality of that is going to be for happening. We have seen one CEO be let go for whatever it was, personal reasons or not, from Cleanspark. So changes can be made if the board there does not seem to think that they're doing a great job. Maybe, who knows, right? So that is a possibility. Riot was up 3.96%. Wolf was up 6.46% there. The Bitcoin holding companies here were all in the green here. Exodus had a fantastic day today. It was up 21.43%. Who else had a great day? Metaplan was up 9.84%. Everything else was 2%, 4%, 1% overall. Small miners here had a pretty good day. DigiPower was the only one that was down 0.48% there. Second day in a row. Annie was up almost 9%. Who else? Everybody else was kind of 5, 1, and 6% and less than that. Bitcoin miner ETFs had a good day. BitQ was up 4.2, BKCH was up 5.24, DAP was up 5.28, WGMI was up 5.66 there. So those are all looking pretty good there. Ethereum holding companies had a pretty good day also. BMNR leading the pack, being up 9.79%. BitDigital also having an okay day, being up 2.65%. BTCS was up a little bit. Game was down actually, and SBAT being up 3.2%. On that one. And then we have the other companies that we track here. American Bitcoin was down 2.33%. This one seems to be trending downwards still, even though things are kind of bouncing up here. Right now, it's kind of getting close to that maybe support line, which we have seen in the past year as well from June. So we'll see if it holds it or if it actually breaks below it there. What else we got here? Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi had a great day, up 11.22%. Open was up 0.52. Oracle was up 4.02. Nibius was up 6.54%. Soluna was down 1.91%. Bakkt was down 3.12%. Fermi was up 12.09, getting a nice bounce there. Who else do we have here? Meta was down 0.41%. Google was down for some reason 1.04%. Probably some profit taking happening there. Amazon was down just a little bit, 0.22%. Microsoft was up nicely, 1.78%. And Nvidia was back up to 1.37% in the plus side. So not too bad overall. Miners here in the after hours right now, most of these are in the green here. Right, let's see if we get the latest data on these guys here. Not much trading happening there. So BitDeer's up 1.74%. We got Bitfarms being up 2.58%. Who else? Kango is actually down a little bit here. Cypher was up 1.51% here. Cleanspark was up 1.19%. Core was up 0.43%. Hive Digital was up 1.88%. Hut 8 was up 0.68%. IREN being up 0.68%. Mara being up 1.62%. And Riot being up 1%. And lastly, TerraWolf was up 2.17%. Tomorrow is going to be Thanksgiving, obviously, so no trading happening there. Friday, we will have a half day of trading, I believe it is. So we'll take a look at what's going on there on Sunday show, because I'm going to be not doing anything here tomorrow, Friday, or Saturday. We'll be back to things on Sunday. Bitcoin right now for the month of November, it's looking a little bit better than where we were, right? We're down 16.48% right now as it is. It looks like, we have basically tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of trading left in Bitcoin. We'll see where we end up at. Could we get closer to maybe 10% or something like that? Maybe, but it's still going to be probably a red November nonetheless. And then December historically has not been great for us. So I'm not expecting shocking things for December. I'd be surprised if we get actually a positive December as well, but we'll see where we go. If this is a different cycle altogether, maybe we do get a green December there. We'll keep an eye on it, obviously. Bitcoin ETF inflows, outflows. We had outflows right now, 21.7 million there. We still don't have IBIT reporting, which is BlackRock. We'll see if that one makes it all positive there, but we've had at least yesterday a positive inflow day with BlackRock at 83 million. And right now we just don't know. So we'll follow this up on Sunday, see where we are at that point. The FedWatch tool here, we're still at 84.7%, believing that we're going to get basically a 25 basis rate cut in December, so that's good. And that will be obviously a good thing here. A couple of good news stories that we do have here. This is just in. Former Coinbase advisor Kevin Hassett emerges as favorite to become the next Fed chair. I think this is what kind of caused the markets to kind of go up, at least Bitcoin and maybe the miners as well, to kind of go up on that news. He's pretty pro crypto, and it looks like that might be a pretty good person to get there. So that's good news there. We also have this. Incredibly bullish news for Bitcoin. NASDAQ just moved the IBIT, BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, into the same regulatory class as the largest, most liquid equities on Earth. They are raising the options limit from 25,000 contracts to 1 million contracts. That is a 40% or 40x more room for institutional derivative exposure. This is the transition point from ETF adoption phase to derivative market phase. And Bitcoin price discovery always goes vertical when derivatives scale. Bitcoin just got promoted to mega cap status. The rule filing literally says they're doing this because IBIT has reached the same level of market cap, liquidity, and trading frequency as the biggest stocks. This is the category reserved for Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, SPY, QQQ. That's the club Bitcoin is in now. The market is formally treating Bitcoin as a top-tier global asset class with no liquidity constraints. So this was also possibly why Bitcoin pumped today. This opens things up for us here going forward. You can see it here. To achieve this balance, ISE proposes to increase the position limits and exercise limits for options on IBIT to 1 million contracts by noting the proposed positions limit and supplementary material, right? So that might be part of it also why Bitcoin did pretty good today here. But again, more adoption. This is what we want. This is what we want to see going forward here. So this is great news there. A couple other things we have here. NASDAQ just announced to raise the limits, right? We talked about that already by 40x. And then Vice President J.D. Vance says Bitcoin will become a strategically important asset for the United States. We're still waiting, obviously, for that bill to get passed for getting Bitcoin as a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Maybe we'll get something in December here. I don't know if we're going to get anything here happening, obviously, with Thanksgiving tomorrow and a couple more days left before November's over with here. So we'll see if we get that in December here. But that's great news there, right? The administration there is definitely going in on Bitcoin, which is great, and it's going to lead to more adoption, which I love personally. All right, more adoption means Bitcoin's going to be less volatile over time. We won't probably see these huge price swings in Bitcoin where we have in the past cycles, and we possibly will end up getting an extended cycle in Bitcoin, which could be like a forever cycle, really, where we just kind of go up, 50% over a certain period of time, drop back down 10, 20%, 30%, whatever it might be, go back up the 50% from there, whatever it might be, right? So that is great news there. All right, a couple of news stories that we do have here really quick is Hive Digital. They're doing at the market equity program. It's for $300 million there. So that gives them obviously some liquidity that they can pull on if need be. And with the stock being where it's at right now, I think it's not the worst time to do it. I'd like to see the stock be up much higher from here before they pull on it, but we'll see. This gives them optionality that they are going to need to build out their sites in Canada and in Sweden, I believe, for HPC AI. So this gives them like I said, the optionality to do that. It is going to be obviously dilutive to the shareholders there a little bit, but as long as they do it at much higher prices from where we are right now, that might not be as bad. All right. Okay, so there's that news. And then we got TeraWulf also announces that they are announcing a mandatory conversion date for their Series A convertible preferred stock. Right, this is given that on the last 5 trading days, whether or not consecutive, from November 4th through November 24th, the last reported sale price is defined by the certificate of designations per share of TeraWulf's common stock has exceeded 130% of the conversion price or $10 per share. Each share of convertible preferred stock will automatically convert into 141.9483 shares of common stock on December 9th. So that's going to be happening there. So there's going to be some dilution happening on that as well, but it's not too bad, right? Stock has definitely done pretty well here in the past 6 months, I would say, even the past year. So we knew this was going to happen eventually, and this is part of it here. So this is, yeah, I'm fine with this. It's not a big deal overall. Just a little bit of dilution, I guess. All right, that's it on the news stories that we do have here. Let's take a look at the miners here. I should say BTC AI miners, because they're all probably going in. Well, they are all going into AI one way or another, for the most part. Okay, so first one at bat here is BitDeer. BitDeer right now today traded at $12.67 at the close, based on their future potential revenue going forward. I'm between $25.18 and $37.77. Analysts have them at $50, and for the high side of things, and low $20. Yeah, I think they're still undervalued here. That's with a P of 15 on them. They are undervalued right now as it is. So we'll see if they can get bounce back from there. Time will only tell on it, but I think they will. As long as everybody else goes up as well, they'll follow suit. And they've been beaten down more than others, I think, in the past 4 to 5 weeks or so. All right, so that one's still undervalued in my opinion. Next here, really quick, Bitfarms. Bitfarms, we have them at right now $3.10. I have them at $4.63 to $6.95. Analysts have them somewhere around there as well, between $7 and $2. I think they're undervalued quite a bit as well. They should be at least double from where they are right now. And that's not even including any revenues that they will get from their site in Washington next year. But it's going to be at the end of next year, so we probably shouldn't really be including that. But yeah, I think they should be higher valued right now as it is on it. So they're still undervalued in my opinion. Next, we got Cango here. Cango is right now $1.46. I have them between $5.63 and $9.38. We do know that they're asset light. They have only one site that they currently own. I think that's maybe the reason why the stock is so low. And we've even given them a discount here of a P of 8. We could possibly bring them down a little bit more to like a 5 or something like that. That would get them to about 352 to 586. That still shows me that they are undervalued from where they probably should be, at least currently, right? They do have a hodl position as well, all of that stuff here. So yeah, they are still undervalued in my opinion a little bit. Cypher is at $19.15 going forward with the revenue they're going to be getting next year. And with Bitcoin revenue and things like that, they should be somewhere between 24 and 36. Analysts think they should be somewhere between 42 and 9. 9 I think is way too low there. But I think somewhere closer to 42 is probably doable, right? So they're at 19. Yeah, they're still undervalued here in my opinion, based on these numbers right now. Next, we got Cleanspark here. Cleanspark's at $13.45 at the end of today. Right now, we're just looking at the Bitcoin mining revenue side of things, where they could be by next year. We don't have any details as far as contracts or anything like that for any customers that they might get for next year. But right now, they still should be at least $24.62 to like $36.93. And that's still giving a little bit of a discount compared to some of the other miners that do have AI business. I'm at 15 right now, right? And the analysts say they should be somewhere between $13 and $14. Average is about $24, and that kind of plays into where I think they should be as well. So they are still undervalued. They should be at least double from where they are right now. So they got more room to run there. Next, CORZ Scientific here. CORZ Scientific is at $16.18. I have them somewhere between $15.19 and $22. I think some of the analysts here have them a little bit higher, $29. The average $19.95, and the low of $17. So they're getting close to being fairly valued. I think they still could be up a little bit more, like another 50% or something like that, where they could possibly go up. So they're getting close to being fairly valued until we actually hear from them as far as any new contracts that they might get next year for their sites or something like that, right? That's going to bump them back up at that point. Next here is Hive. Hive is at $3.20 today. We do have them at a sizable discount as well with a PE of 10 right now. The reason I have them at PE of 10 is because they don't have any operations in the United States. I'm discounting that part of the business there because of no operations in the United States. Right? If they had operations in the United States, I think investors and institutions and other places like that would value them a little bit higher. So I'm definitely discounting them. Even with the discount, I think they should be somewhere between $8.80 and $13.20. Analysts have them between $11 and like $7.50. So yeah, I think that they are definitely way undervalued right now as it is on that, and they definitely have some more room to run here going forward. With the release of the ATM, that might put a pause on their gains here a little bit as far as stock price for a couple of days, a week or two, whatever it might be. Let that all set in with investors, and then they could possibly go up from there. Next here we got Hut 8. Hut 8 is at $42.37. I have it actually between $30.92 and $46.38. Institutions, some between, institutions are valuing much, much higher at $78 on the high side to $26 on the low side. I think they are pretty well valued right now as it is. Right, we don't have any contracts for HPCI. They do have a lot of sites and things like that, and megawatts and development, things like that, which is fine. But they're definitely getting valued much higher than any of these other guys here right now. And it could be because they obviously spun out their Bitcoin mining side of the business with American Bitcoin there. So maybe that's playing into a little bit. They also are in with the Trump family there. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But I think they're pretty fairly valued right now as it is. Until they actually get a contract with somebody for some of their AI data centers at that time. Okay, so there's Hut 8. IREN is right now at $48.45. I have them with $135.38 to $203 somewhere in between there is where I think they should be fairly valued, based on the simple fact here that their HPC revenue run rate for next year is going to be right around $3.4 billion, and then I actually halved their revenues here, but they were getting Bitcoin revenue run rate for next year down like half from where they were this year, just in case Bitcoin stays at 100,000 roughly across the board, and even if their hash rate increases, so they're generating less. So let's just say they get half of what they got this year, more or less run rate. So that gets us to 437 million roughly in revenue for next year for them. With that in mind, plus the HPC revenue they're getting there as well, I have them between 135 and 203. Analysts have them at $142 for the high side, low, obviously $24. I think that's ridiculous for them. So yeah, they're still way undervalued. They should be at least probably like 2-3x from where they are right now as it is. So yeah, they're still undervalued in my opinion from where they probably should be, and they will get eventually there, I think. Whether it's going to be in the next 6 months to a year, I don't know, but I think they will get valued higher unless we see a heck of a lot of dilution, which that will obviously impact the stock price at that point as well. Okay, but this is as everybody says, IREN is pretty much the queen here right now in this space as it is. Okay, next here we got Mara. Mara right now, as of today, was $11.11. Right, we know it has been performing well here. I still think they should be somewhere between $19.55 and $29.33. Analysts have them between $28.18 on the low end side of things. So yeah, I think they should be at least double from where they are right now. For them, if you just look at what they have as far as Bitcoin HODL position and where their value is, if we look at that, yeah, I mean, you can see HODL to market cap. I mean, you got more HODL there than they have market cap. 150% is basically, well, they got 4.8 billion in Bitcoin value, and their market cap is 4.2 billion. I mean, they're not even being valued on the assets that they currently have as well. at that point. So it is definitely way undervalued in my opinion. Should be at least a double from where it's at right now. Next, we got Riot here. Riot is at $14.96. I'm in between $12.08 and $18.13. Obviously, this is based on the Bitcoin production. We don't have any contracts for any customers with them for AI right now. So I think they're pretty well valued, pretty fairly valued right now as it is on this side of things. And the analysts actually have them much higher, even at $42 on the high side to $19. I think the analysts are maybe pricing in a deal with somebody. And I just don't have that right now, right? If we do get a deal or something like that, we could definitely go up higher at that point on the PE side of things. That would get us to $16 to $24 at that point. So that would be, slightly undervalued, I would say at that point. But right now, just what we do have as far as data, I think this is kind of where they should be more or less. I think they're kind of fairly valued currently. Now, that can change, obviously, as they get deals for AI. Next, we got TeraWulf here. TeraWulf is right now $14.84. I have them between $16.97 and $25.45. So I think they are on the lower end of things. I think they should be valued a little bit more higher from where they are. And the analysts also think the same thing, right? $26 on the high side of things, low $9.50. So I think they're still undervalued a little bit as well. They should be valued higher. And then that's it, minor comparison. Yeah, so we got quite a few that are undervalued, and we only have like maybe two that are pretty fairly valued, between Riot and Hut 8 being almost somewhat fairly valued at this current point. All right, so that is it on all of this stuff here. Yeah, we'll get into Q&A and we'll call it a day here. And we'll obviously enjoy the long weekend here. All right, let's get into Q&A here. As always, you guys know you guys know what to do. Questions, preface those with a question mark or a Q. I would appreciate it there. And we'll work through all of this stuff here as always, and we'll work our way down. And looks like it's kind of late today. Obviously, people are traveling for the holidays and things like that, which was kind of expected here. So we'll keep this pretty quick here. Kamikaze says Cleanspark and Bitfarms are very undervalued. I agree with them there, and can't wait to see Cleanspark at 36 and Bitfarms at 10. Me too. That would definitely be wonderful there to see that. I think we might be actually able to go higher on Cleanspark, depending on what kind of deal they get and things like that. John Kurt says Cleanspark, my largest holdings up 30% in 5 days with Cypher 2, but possibly huge volatility is still on the table. Need to hit 92.5 for Bitcoin. Yeah, I think there's going to be volatility for sure here. I bought Cleanspark on Friday, which was kind of nice. If this was the bottom, then I pretty much timed it almost perfectly. I thought, things were just too far down in price at that point. So I was happy to buy that. And yeah, it's definitely doing really well here recently. John Kurt says IREN can double in a minute, in my opinion, in a minute. IREN can definitely shoot up if things progress quite nicely for them. Let's see. Mar Samir. Hi, Sebastian. Happy Thanksgiving. Honestly, except IREN, which still has room to go up. They are all undervalued, some more than others. Yep, I agree there. Let's see. Mar Samir says most of the money that has been wiped out from the market in the past 6 weeks will get pumped back into the market. I believe that as well. Rob, how you doing? Thanks for coming in here. Let's see here. Rob, it would be nice to see us get back to where we were in early October. We'll get there eventually. And we'll probably surpass that as well. AIT says, Happy Thanksgiving, Seb. Thanks for going live. All the best. Go Bitfarms. Thank you. Same to you and everybody else. Sadie, as always, thank you so much for the likes. AIT's got a question here. Do you think AI and Bitcoin will be discussed at the dinner table for Thanksgiving? It will be discussed at my family dinner, that's for sure. And I'm sure it's going to be discussed at other family dinners as well. Rob, so can someone confirm with me that JP Morgan has been subpoenaed? That I have not seen that. So if Bitcoin is passed as a legit digital currency, what does that do to miners' business model, i.e. Hive, IREN, Bitfarms, etc.? If it's a digital, if the bill is passed as a legit digital currency, I mean, it already is a legit digital currency for the most part, right? It's not really a currency. Well, I guess it is a currency, right? They're not saying it's a security, it's a commodity. What does that do for them? Well, if Bitcoin price goes up in value because of it and we get more adoption, things like that, it's going to be good things for those, as always. Let's see, Canadian EH, thank you so much for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. I think this might be it. DXY finally moved down. Face rip rally into late December, January to bull everyone up before the final rug pull. Remember, I told you this was coming. Not financial advice. Good luck. Thank you. And yeah, you have been telling us for this for a while. So that's great. XB Prod question. Historically, do stocks, in this case miners, move a lot when U.S. markets are closed? If we look at the Canadian stock market, TSXY, do they move after hours a lot? We have seen recently that they have been moving up in the green, but during the trading days, they've been going in the red here, at least the last, I would say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks or something like that. We've seen that, right? After hours, they were in the green, and then come day hours for regular trading hours, and we would see these guys actually starting out in the green, and then within hour and a half, they'd be turning red. So that's not always a good sign for us there. All right, Mark, question. Do you see more announcing any AI stuff? I mean, they have already with their buy-in into one of the companies. Can't remember the name of the company right there, but I think they're European-based. So they have kind of bought into a little bit there, but they need to talk more about it. They need to provide some more information as well, I believe, on that stuff. And I got a sneeze come out. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Let's see. Trueable Production. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the $50 super chat there. Thank you so much for that. Let's see. PJW says, tell the scary Canadian not to be so grim. Okay. What's grim about face rip rally? You know this is crypto, right? It's a volatile market, just a realist. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing scary about that. I mean, if you've been in crypto any period of time, over an extended period of time, right? If you've been in it at least a couple of years, you know that we can go have a nice rally, and then we can definitely, pull fast, much faster down than we were on the way up as well. So it is the market for sure. Okay, the market will come back after 3 to 4 years, maybe. So you think we're going to be getting into a bear market completely in the markets and everything? I don't see that happening next year, right? The reason I say that is because here in the United States, at least, we have the midterms elections. I think Trump administration is going to do everything they can to have a healthy rally in the markets, as best they can to show something for it, I guess. JC, hey guys, there is any Cleanspark Facebook group where to post a chart when is needed? I don't know. I don't have a Facebook account. Haven't had a Facebook account for the past, gosh, I think I'm going close to 10 years now, possibly. I got rid of it quite a while ago. Couldn't be happier doing that, though. But that's just me. Duffman here. Question: is Mara HODL to market cap factor in the convertible debt that was issued to buy the HODL? That's obviously a debt on that side of things. Yeah, I mean, if you take that out, then it's not as bad. But again, from where they got in, when did they buy into it? It was roughly right around this time last year, right, when they started buying Bitcoin again on it. But yeah, if you factor that in, it would obviously bring it back down here. But so I mean, even at this point, I think they're still undervalued with that regardless, right? They have sites, they have operations, they have machines, all this stuff, but have they made mistakes? I think so. Have their operations been great? No. Right? Could the management have done a better job not, diluting shares and all? I think so. And then also the stock-based compensation, all those things. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is because of many reasons there. All right. Adria, thank you so much for the happy Thanksgiving sub. Wishing you a great family holiday. You as well. Everybody here as well, right? Enjoy it. Spend the time with your family there. Bevneat, want to see IREN at 100 and Cypher at 40. I would love to see IREN at $140. That would be just freaking awesome. At that point, Kenya, does anyone know? Oh, that's all right, let me see if I can find it. We're going to block you. Kenya, you're being blocked. Where to buy? See, I see over here. Yeah, anybody that comes in with tokens or things like that, pumping those, you're going to get put, you're going to be hide on this channel. Because I can't, well, I could report you, but that's not going to do anything, so I'm just going to hide you. You're hidden. Okay. All right. Rob says, what I mean about Bitcoin being passed, i.e. adoption, does that mean mining companies drop the AI HPC business and go back to, no. No, I don't see that unless Bitcoin really starts to be so much less volatile than it has been in the past year. The other part of it is that obviously the network continues to grow here as well. That's not going to be stopping anytime soon. So I think with AI, I think the AI revolution is happening. It's happening pretty quickly here. And we still have a long ways to go as well to build all the stuff out that we need. So I don't see that stopping anytime soon. And I think that's more regular revenue right? You can count on that revenue basically more or less. And then with Bitcoin going up and down, I think, yeah, I don't think they're going to be going back into it. I mean, they'll still have Bitcoin mining to be able to use to curtail their energy if needed, right? Because you need to work with the electricity grid as well. So that kind of helps out things there. So that's kind of the way I see it, at least right now. Okay. AIT, as a fellow Canadian, I do not support Canadian EH. He has been hitting too much of the maple syrup. AI is just getting started. And in the first inning, 2026, yeah, I think I'm with you on that as well. I think there's obviously more room to run here. I don't think that we're going to be in a bear market with the economies and everything else. I could be wrong. We'll see. Benny says, Mara is trash. I had Mara and sold. Nobody cares about their Bitcoin hodl anymore. Times have changed. AI is the next big thing. Yeah, I'll agree with you there. And especially buying Bitcoin, right? They're mining it. You should be able to mine it at a much lower cost. I never was a fan of that, especially on the miner side of things. If you're a miner, mine Bitcoin at the lowest cost you possibly can, and then if you want to hodl that, fine, because you're getting it at like a 50% discount at that point. All right. AIT to Rob Wong here. Companies like Bitfarms have said the profits from mining isn't there, and they will make much more in the HPC space. Hence, why they are pivoting away from it. Yeah, we're seeing that for sure. Yeah, we're seeing some that are going to be getting out completely, and others are going to be doing it split-wise. Okay. All right. NG, what happened to year-to-date market rally? Did I miss put something? Bitcoin rally so far has been canceled until further notice, right? We may get a notice in December that we're going back up here, but right now it's been canceled. Kenyan EA says, LOL, I want all of you to win. Cheers, guys. Yeah, we all want to win, right? Everybody. But we're definitely open to discussion here. Everybody has their own opinion and things like that. We welcome it. We may not agree with it sometimes, but we'll welcome it for sure. Rob, a question here. There was a company called Supermicro or ticker SMIC. They build servers. This year they were $1,000 stock in the real quick short time span of 7 months from a single digit stock to triple digit stock. Do you think that could happen to Bitfarms or Hive or IREN? That I don't know, right? I know Supermicro is definitely getting deals for HPCI servers and things like that. That's why the stock ran up quite nicely there. But I don't know if it's going to happen to the miners. I mean, we've seen obviously IREN run up nicely, Cypher as well, run up on news. TeraWolf also, Hut 8, just on potential there. So could we still run up more? Yeah, I think we're going to run up more as time progresses, as they get more deals and things like that. NG says Bitfarms is rallying higher than others recently. Yeah, I would say a little bit. I think Cleanspark might be taking the helm there right now, though, at least. John, thank you so much for the thumbs up there. Rob talked about that one already. Let's see here. Naz, thank you for your chat. What's your view on Soluna? Seem most undervalued based on power and what their history as their share price is low. Soluna, like I've talked to before, I covered them probably 1.5 years to 2 years ago now, but I didn't see the growth there with them. And I had a cutoff at, from last year, I made a cutoff that anybody that wasn't getting to like 5 exahash in Bitcoin mining, I was basically lowering them down to like the small miners side of things that would kind of look at them every once in a while. They have been doing much better with the new CEO there, so that's good. Obviously, price on Soluna has rocketed here in the past year from where they were. A lot of it is based on their potential megawatts, right? The pipeline there that they have. But the pipeline is, like I said before, is a pipe dream until you actually have those contracts in place for the megawatts and everything else. And you can see here, it went from basically, what was it, 43 cents in early September, right? Yeah. Well, we went as April, we were even a little lower. But let's say from September, we went from September when everything was catching a bid on AI potential, right? September here, 5th. They went up 1,000% on really just news about AI potential and having megawatt pipeline. And then they had obviously a fall here recently as well, like a lot of these guys, had a falling of approximately 72% to the bottom there. So they definitely got beaten down more. I don't know enough about them as far as what their current plans are. I know that they're trying to get to HPCI as well. The other thing is that they do a lot of these partnerships, which I'm not a big fan of partnerships. It muddies the waters when it comes to financial reporting and things like that. So yeah, but could it do well? possibly, but it's definitely been coming down here recently, and it's not doing as nicely as some of the other miners here in the space. The other portion, like I said a couple of weeks back, I think it was just manipulation on this one, maybe more so than anything else. Right? Not a lot of shares outstanding. Also, I mean, they were valued at what, like $30 million market cap at one point. That did improve here recently, but it's still, what is their market cap right now as it is? Financials, let's see, market cap. Where's the market cap? Down here probably somewhere. Statements, I don't care about that. Where's their market cap usually? Free float, shares, ownership, fundamentals, summary, price to earnings, market cap. So market cap is 105. Net income, market cap, 105 yet, 105.3. So it is up from where it was, but still like a small cap company there. It's still easy to manipulate this one. Do your due diligence on it, obviously. If you believe that they are going to be able to execute well on it, then put a little bit into it. I think there are other players that have more potential here, but this one being so low, it's going to be easy to make this thing pop 10x without an issue here. Again, potentially. So that's one of those things that's risky, but you might get the rewards there out of it. Right? So it's one of those things. Okay, talked about that one. All right, GD, what is your year-end price target range for Bitcoin? I mean, originally we were thinking that we're going to get to like maybe 150 to 200,000. Right now, be happy if we get to back to 130,000 or something like that by the end of the year here. That would be, or at least, I would say close to 115 to 130,000, something like that. That would be actually a nice little bounce that we from where we've come at least. Bevney says Mara will drop to $5. That would be rough for all the Mara pigs there. Let's see. Angie says, hoping to be a multi-millionaire with 45,000 Bitfarms shares. That'd be awesome. I wish that does happen for you. I hope it happens for everyone here. Angie says, along with everyone else. Yeah. Rob, what's your average share price? Or you're asking NG there. Mine is $1.50, something like that. Almost $1.60 there. Okay. All right. Let's see. I think we caught up to all the questions here. We're going to probably call it a day here. Gary's here. Why did Mara buy so much Bitcoin at 110,000, not when it dipped to 80,000? Because they don't have the cash to do it right now. They did it last year, right? That's why I was not a big fan of it. It's like, why buy it? Don't buy it. They were trying to become another MicroStrategy. And the reason for that is because they saw MicroStrategy getting to like $540 doing well, right? Having an MNAV of like 3 or something like that. And they saw that. They're like, well, this is going to be really good. No. I wasn't a fan of it at that point. Not a fan of it now. I don't want the companies buying Bitcoin, and especially the ones that are mining it. There's no reason for them to be buying it. If you're going to do that, start a different company and do it. Do it that way, but don't do it part of your Bitcoin mining side of things. All right. NG says here, I averaged up recently, so it's $2. It was $1.50. Okay, still very good. Good price there. All right, we're gonna call it a day. I'm gonna wish you guys a great Thanksgiving. If you are obviously in the United States, if you're not in the United States, I hope you guys have a great Thursday. And then we'll get back in the swing of things on Sunday, right? So hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Love you all for coming in here as always. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Sunday. All right? Until then, bye.